Hello and welcome to Patch Notes Season 2, Episode 5, a very special edition of the Patch Notes podcast because I have a very special person to my right, your left.
I'm a person now?
You are a person. You've always been a person.
Okay, good.
Could we get an introduction from you?
Hi, I am Sean Bowers, and
Oh, wait, you have an actual microphone. It doesn't really
yeah, I
work
do
as
have
well
actually.
in
Don't put
those
pointy
contexts.
things in my face. I bite them. So I'm Sean.
Hi, Sean.
If you haven't met me before, I'm the owner of Edge VR Arcade, and these guys have all been involved in that movement. And Aaron will soon be officially partner on paper when we restructure, but. And then also Creative Edge Productions, so editor, animator, tech guy, a lot of
Renaissance
stuff. I wear a lot of
man?
hats, construction guy, because we're building our I came from construction today from building out our game room, our dedicated game room.
Yes, sir.
So
sweet.
yeah, so
Sean
Hi.
can do a lot of things.
it's nice
Among
when I
the
can
most
just be
things.
behind here and just be stupid instead of have to be professional behind the camera.
I watched your
No
last
professionalism,
podcast,
yeah.
Sean. This podcast is going to be very different.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can swear, right?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Is
So-
it 20 years? 20 years, yeah.
Fun fact, viewers, we had a discussion about whether we can use the F-bomb or not, and it's going to be bracketed. Yeah,
Bracketed.
That explains the
This
jump.
is PG-13. We
commented
get
on.
one per episode.
One per
Yeah,
episode,
one per episode.
ideally
Be a good
like
one.
2/3 of the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's just
They're
I don't
stifling
know.
my future.
You don't want to just do it right away and then everybody clicks away.
Yeah, exactly,
Right,
exactly.
you know.
You gotta tease them. It's
Yeah.
the carrot.
It's
for the people
the
to stick around.
Samuel L. Jackson in the end of Infinity War or whatever it was. Mother, and then they just they cut over.
That was beautiful.
Anyways,
so
all right, cool.
Yes, on my left, your right is Aaron Vindy Gaskins.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
Hello.
And final introduction. On my double right, your double left is Forrest Wolfclock Pelkey. Forrest, how are you doing?
Doing really well.
He has the power to do that.
Oh,
on
yeah.
your
And
double
my
right.
gamer tag is Shonky, I guess.
Yes. Sean
by
is
Shonky.
Shonky.
I also go by the baker under your bed, which is
true.
my favorite one. But
Yeah, I found
more
him
people
under there
know me
one
by
time. It was
Shonky.
surprising, but he did have a pastry. So, like the baker,
Yeah.
it panned out.
So when you were a kid, you didn't have a baker under your bed?
I didn't have a baker under
Oh,
my
okay.
bed.
No,
No,
that's
it wasn't.
a pretty rare thing.
It wasn't until I met
Thank you, Forrest.
Yeah.
This is why no one calls him that. They feel uncomfortable. Is this a play on to
Yeah,
something that I
a
don't
big
know?
bonus points
I
if-
don't want to get canceled.
I will give.
I'm not calling
if someone
him that.
if someone understands that reference, I'll give you a gift card to the arcade.
I'm not searching that up on the
Comment
internet.
now, comment
Well,
now.
don't. Yeah, I mean, obviously the internet, someone could just search. But if someone understands that from a movie, I'll hug them a lot.
My mom said something. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna look that up," and it was the most Rule 34 sounding thing. I'm like, "Mom, do not Google that." She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Do not Google
You
that."
never know when it's going to come up.
Like
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
most
Never know.
R34 sounding thing I've ever heard
Well,
in
you're
my
the
life.
first to show inappropriate anger on Mars.
What?
It's
Okay.
from the same movie.
Oh dear.
Okay, anyways.
All
I
right, we
feel
gotta
short
move on.
because so much is
We're
going
getting
over my
deep
head.
lore.
But importantly, what have we been playing? Forrest, I know you have been developing games.
Starting with the development, yes. So, Fortnite. I decided that my first game development journey needed to go into Fortnite because A, it's accessible to literally everybody, right? B, the process for developing a game mode in that is just so streamlined. And C, it still allows you to learn the Unreal Engine while doing so because you still get all the
Convenient.
bells and whistles and
Huge.
the
I'm
difference.
familiar with some aspects of that from the film side,
Sure.
animation
yeah.
side.
The difference is they use a different language called Verse rather than the C++. But by the sounds of it, Epic will be releasing Verse out to the normal engine as well eventually. So it kind of feels like I'm getting a
Do
leg
you
up on
you
it.
have
Yeah,
C
yeah.
do you have C++ experience?
Only in college.
Oh,
C
say, like-
sharp is my
Are those the grades
experience
you
and
get?
a
C++?
professional.
So how do you like
Yeah.
Verse then?
I love Verse.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. So right now the only thing I've done in Verse is just exploring like UI options, but you're able to tap into all the logic in the Fortnite engine. So that's exciting because pretty much it feels like any game that I wanted to make within a memory constraint. So they do constrain you to a memory limit.
Right.
How much?
I don't know the actual megabytes or whatever because
Okay.
it's just like in Fortnite terms they have a little bar.
Oh,
measures,
okay.
you know?
Sure.
And I haven't looked at what the conversion
I'm sure it's
is.
low since it's accessible to so many people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the Fortnite game modes that you create originally started off in what's called creative inside the Fortnite game. And so
Right, yes.
when they came out with Creative 2.0, they're like, guess what? You can use the Unreal Engine editor in order to make your games now. And then that's when they introduced the verse.
So do you have full access to the back end of Unreal basically through it? Is it kind of seem like they get node-based editing?
Pretty
node-based
much,
stuff?
yeah. I mean,
all
the
that
only
kind of
thing,
stuff?
you don't get access to blueprints. You don't get
Okay.
access to the C++.
Okay.
Right? But you do everything that you could do in C++ or blueprints, I would say, at least with interacting with the actors and even some of the engine tweaks you can access in Verse.
Okay.
But the cool thing is you get all of the predefined actors that were made specifically for Fortnite
I would
called
say, yeah,
devices.
It just allows you to be totally creative
And
instead of having to worry
I
about the
haven't,
back end
I
stuff.
haven't actually
Nice.
needed to code anything for the game that I'm building.
Yeah.
So
Really?
I'm
Wow.
building
That's wild.
Capture the Flag. Aaron has playtested it. Now David has playtested it on a different occasion. I'm doing another playtest tomorrow with my playtesting group. And it's just been so much fun.
Cool.
It's
So
pretty
much fun.
interesting that, like, you know, you're just doing a simple CTF. You know, it's not like that's a new thing.
No,
but
right.
It's getting your feet wet. But it was interesting as a play tester too, just to see. You think the audio caught Jen's massive fail?
Oh,
I wonder
it's
if that
not
happened.
really. Not that much.
Yeah,
No,
she
it's
just
probably
dropped some
good.
pencils.
Well,
it's
now
okay,
it
Jen.
did.
It's all good.
Well, yeah.
She just dropped all her pastels or color pencils.
One interesting thing about it, though, was just like, you know, I think, you're still, I'm not judging you too harshly. Obviously, you're just getting there. But I found it interesting. It's like, I'm just trying to get this thing to work. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you know, I would put this there and I would modify this gun's damage and all that. And I was just thinking, like, poor Greg from Manor Lords. Because it's like you're in your mind, in his mind, he was like, we're just trying to get the thing to work. And you're like,
Yeah.
you know, and as a player, it's like, I don't care about that.
No,
I
not
just
yet, no.
want the game to feel better. So just
Yeah.
make it feel better.
Right.
Balancing.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about having a playtest group that's so close with me, and having so everybody in the audience has some context. I have 10 of my buddies that signed up to be playtesters because you have to actually go through an age verification process.
I had to give him my damn SSN.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because
I had to confirm my
Epic-
last four, but I didn't have to give more
Epic
than that.
doesn't want anyone playing on sanctioned games because there might be inappropriate content in there.
Oh, sure.
So you have to actually go through an age verification
gate it.
saying,
Yeah.
hey, you're 18 and you accept the consequences of entering into
no
this
Fortnite
playtest."
hentai, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
darn. I'm
Yeah,
out.
not on that site.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and now I started scheduling, right? Yeah, I'm sure there's a Discord for that, but, man.
At least one.
So now, yeah, every Tuesday, at least for the foreseeable future, until I get this first game published, I want to have these playtesting nights.
Sean, what are you playing?
Well, I
Probably not.
will always play and have played for a long time Rocket League.
Yeah.
Of course, you know. So that's obviously it's funny.
Guilty pleasure.
I never would have thought that was a game I ever would have liked. Like if I saw it, you know, I never would have tried it. You know, I might have tried it with a friend, but I was over at my other business partner's, Tony's, and he had a 4-player setup with a projection screen and like nice little theater seats, and so we'd sometimes have game nights there, just couch co-op play. And Rocket League. Well, I'm exactly the same now. Fuck. There we go. There it is.
Right.
There's the F word. So, anyways, I gotta stop picking at that label. Go away. Here, let me finish it first.
Small intermission.
Sorry, ADHD taking over. So, Rocket League, we played there, 4-player, and because I don't really care about racing games, and I don't really care about sports games, so I just never would have thought that I would like it. So after trying it, I got addicted to it, got hooked, you know. So got over. I mean, Vindy's got everybody beat when it comes to hours in the game with League of Legends, but I've got 4,000 in Rocket League, so that's my esport of choice. and it's just really easy to pick up, and I've got some mates that I play with often, so that's what makes it great. But yeah, like on my list of things, I picked up Starfield and went through the intro basically, and then just got busy, and then like same thing with.
No, that's not. The
Yeah,
game.
I know. Like there's like Cyberpunk.
To the game, you're not that guy, man.
Now that
You're not that
Cyberpunk is,
guy.
now that
Yeah.
Cyberpunk's been fixed, I really I want to give that a good
Cyberpunk's way
playthrough
better.
because I really love Cyberpunk, just in general, not the genre, not necessarily that, because I fell in love with that with like Deus Ex and Blade Runner and stuff like that. And
I've got a really good cyberpunk game if you want to get into it. It's called Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action. You are a cyberpunk bartender where you have to mix drinks for various cyberpunky characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that 2D
no
like pixel game, right?
Yeah, it's
I think
it's
you're right,
really
Nice.
pixelated. I loved it. I'm waiting for Nirvana Cyberpunk Bartender Action, which is the second in the series, which has been delayed indefinitely since 2022. It's very sad.
Well,
but
one that's been on my list for a long time that now it's been remastered and kind of redone that I've heard good reviews about is System Shock. I really want to do that one because that one's old school. I like
Haven't heard about
Cyberpunk too.
that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's System Shock. Hopefully I'm right on that.
Hey, Mr. Audio Guy, make sure you're talking in the mic, buddy.
Well, how do you know? You can't even hear me.
No, I saw you're not. They're not pointing at the mic.
Okay. Anyways, so there was, let's see here. Yeah. I mean, I was playing God of War for a little bit, because like a lot of the PlayStation exclusives came out on PC, which is awesome.
Ghost of Tsushima launches in a week.
Widescreen
Oh yeah,
support.
that sounds.
And
Yeah, that
I'm
one's
gonna
really good,
I'm
yeah.
gonna play that game.
Yeah,
Ever
it's a
since
great
I saw
game.
that game, I'm like, dude, I want to try this game. And I've never played any of the Dark Souls type games, but
It's much more lenient than that.
yeah. I want to play that game. I've heard it looks gorgeous. It's very well done, and it's like,
Yeah,
frankly, I want to
yeah.
see it on OLED. So I'm like, yeah, let's grab that game. What are
Yeah,
you
so there
playing?
might be. I was just saying, there might be a season when I get back to that, but one that I will play for sure, even if it's just for a little bit until it goes back into my backlog, will be the new Jurassic Park Survivor coming out. The new
interesting.
first
I haven't
person
even heard of
happens
that.
right after the events of Jurassic Park, the first one.
Oh.
So it's on Isla Neblar. I can't even say it, but Isla
Wait,
Neblar.
so do you play as somebody in between the first two movies? Then
You play like if you watch the trailer, you're it's like a Indian woman, and I don't know like what her profession was there. Like I don't know if she was like a doctor or an aide or something like that. But it's like it takes over right when the movie ends. Like
Cool. So
it
you get
does really
stranded
good.
on the island.
Yeah,
you
and
have
it's a
to
first
survive
person
it.
type one, So it's like obviously we'll see exactly how it plays
Wait, is
out.
that
I'm
gonna be
excited about
multiplayer
that.
then?
I have no idea.
I would hope so.
I mean I just saw the trailer, so it's like
it is Survivor, not
Jurassic
Survivors.
Park was like was huge for me, as a kid, and that really inspired me to get into film and animation. First time dinosaurs looked real, and so that's just got a place in my heart. So it's like I always get a little teary-eyed when I hear the theme song.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did anyone here on the GameCube ever play King Kong Skull Island?
No. I mean, I'm familiar with that, but I've never played that.
Okay, so this game was so far ahead of its time. Like, it's a game that, there's no HUD. There's no HUD to this game.
You felt like you were a real monkey, right?
No, you played the people. You played the
knew
people.
you were a real monkey.
So
it's a-
evolved monkeys.
It's like a horror game.
Interesting.
okay.
Yeah, no, it's like a horror game.
I mean, that would be pretty terrifying to be on that island.
It is
I remember-
wild. If they made Jurassic Park like that game, which I'll show you guys later, that would be something that I would probably rush out to buy. I remember when we were younger, we played that game. There was nothing else like this game.
Well, maybe we should show like the trailer.
Yeah, it was very
While you're talking about it
cinematic.
here.
There was no there's not even a crosshair. It's. I think sometimes it would show you like how many spears you had.
So you do get weapons then, huh?
Yeah. It's a FPS,
Interesting.
but it was just.
First person spearer.
Yeah, exactly. But it was wild. The game was so far ahead of its time in like direction and art direction. Very scary. Cool. But anyways,
Yeah.
What are you playing?
So I left off didn't leave off, but in the last episode I mentioned that I just started this demo of Esoteric Ebb, which was a lot like a fantasy version of Disco Elysium.
Oh, yes.
I have since finished the demo, And my biggest concern when I had spoken about it last time was whether the writing was going to measure up, because I had still just been in like the first 3 rooms, and it was still orienting me to the game. It still felt like a little bit of a tutorial. But I can firmly say I actually really enjoy it. This is a game I am giving the Spinozone stamp of approval. I thought the writing was great. The 4th room was all that it took for me to think that, like, okay, the way that they're putting lore into this game is... Disco Elysium is a high bar, so I'm not going to say it's like obviously as good, but it is at least in the same ballpark is how well Disco Elysium was working on its world building. One thing it has up on Disco Elysium is that there are like some of the words and concepts in the narrative are highlighted, so you can click on them and learn more about them. I will say in Disco Elysium it was cool that everything unfolded like naturally, and you had to wait a little while till you understood exactly what it meant, like what this important word means. This is very instant gratification, where it's like they introduce these different gods and what arcane means, because arcane is different from nature magic, is different from divine magic. So, like, I click on divine, I know immediately, okay, clerics do divine stuff, druids do nature magic, mages do arcane magic. Yeah, overall, I'd say very good game. I liked the initial conflict I had to resolve between 2 different characters. It was nonviolent. It was me having to pick a side between these, like, proletarian dwarves who were staging an illegal workers' rally and this very convincing, manipulative, independent lady orc that I fell for, not immediately, but within 3 paragraphs. Wow. And she's really what sold me on the game, because like the other stuff like felt good, like good dialogue, but she immediately made me feel like I was in a conversation with another character, and she was pressing me because I said too much about an investigation that my character was doing. And I couldn't backtrack it. I tried saying the like, oh, never mind option, and she's like, oh, but actually you're focusing on this. And I'm like, well, not really. I'm just like a passerby. And she's like, but actually you're passing by the crime scene of such and such a tea shop that blew up. And she was really pressing me. I ended up definitely taking her side against the dwarves. She was awesome. So, yes, I give Esoteric Edge the Spinozone seal of give it a shot if you like other things that I say I've liked.
Female orc domination.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying all female orcs with a dominant personality, but I am saying this specific one. I didn't write down her name for this
Have you tried
episode.
Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, I like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Karlach's cool. What's her name? The Gith Yankee was cool, but like I didn't help her in her time of need, and so and she was like her time of need was over leveled compared to me.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping she would just like still be there when I went back. So I went to a different area, came back, and she was just dead. So that was kind of a bummer. Yeah. I did respect that a lot about Baldur's Gate. They don't let me just delay gratification. Like if I didn't help her out, she died, because that's what would happen if she were in the middle of fighting a guy with a dragon. Right. So yeah. And then also Grey Zone Warfare. I am also playing Grey Zone Warfare, which is great.
Is it the Tarkov killer?
Yes, this is the Tarkov killer, and I think it's going to do a great job of it.
Okay.
The biggest thing that this has over Tarkov is the gameplay loop.
It's not made in Russia.
That also helps.
Yeah.
It helps that it's not made in Russia.
Yeah, they took their time.
It helps that it does not cost $250. That is also, or like the good version does. The gameplay loop of this game is better because in Tarkov, you're in the starting menu, and in order to get into a game, you select a map and you wait in the loading screen, and then you go into the instance or the raid. You either get out successfully and go back to the menu, or you get shot and you die, and you didn't extract, and you lose your stuff, and there's no way to get that stuff back because it's, in that raid, and that raid is over and done with, and you load up and get back. In this one, there is no separate menus, like, interface from the world.
Okay.
When you are in menu, it is because you are at base, and you have your locker there, and you can open that up.
Fun.
But you can just close the locker and go back to running around.
You load in
into
immediately.
base?
You load in immediately
You're
to the
in the
world.
world.
And
Like in a grassy plains, or am I on
you're
protection?
in your home base. Okay. So there are 3 factions now. So
That's why I like this game.
yeah, the faction stuff.
So good.
Faction stuff's huge. There of the 3 factions, you start in one. Each of your starting area is just a rotated. You can choose. You can choose. So I just asked
Is
what
it
my
a control map between those fractions? You have to control the areas of the map?
I don't think so yet. I mean, it's still in alpha, so like maybe they're going to be control elements. But each of us has a starting village, I'm from the viewer's point of view, I'm on the northeast corner.
So which faction is yours?
I'm the blue one, Lemang Recovery Institute, Lemang Medical Institute.
Okay.
I'm like the in-game. I'm like the good guys who wanted to like help the locals, even though most of what I do is shoot them. No, they're
I
no.
can help them
Only
sometimes.
when they shoot back.
Yeah, I'm sure there are lots of really nice locals who are just not coming out of the houses that are all abandoned. Every person you see who is not on, there's a mini map. So every time you see somebody in game who is not, if you open up your mini map, your person is hostile. Either it's a hostile AI that's going to kill you, or it's a hostile other player. But the gameplay loop is you call in these helicopters. The helicopters come, pick you up. You identify where on the game map you want to go. Helicopter sends you there.
Yep.
You get out, you do your stuff, and you either succeed or are getting super injured, and so you like need to extract as soon as you can, or you straight up die. In either of the first two cases.
So, like, what is the objective? Like, give me an example of
Oh,
the objective.
yeah.
Why you would want to fly out there?
Yeah, a lot of the earlier objectives are because your merchants, who you can level up in order to get good stuff, have tasks for you related to, okay, we have personnel out in the field that we haven't heard back from.
Okay.
We think their helicopter is crashed. We need to be able to confirm the crash site. We need you to go to this location at these coordinates.
Do you exfil like NPCs then?
You don't. I haven't yet. There has not yet been an NPC I have not shot or tried to shoot or avoided.
I was
getting
going to
shot
ask
by.
you because I've seen a lot of gameplay of people sneaking around and barely shooting anybody.
There are at least a couple of quests that I now have where it is advantageous to
Not
Yeah.
see Rambo.
Yeah. Because there are a couple of spots where like you only see one guy, but if you like turn the corner, there are 5 dudes who just happen to be spawning on that street, and like maybe they'll miss the first time. But I had like third to last time I died was a dude who shot me, not cross map, but like he was only a few pixels tall for me, and he shot me with like an SMG in the head perfectly at range.
That was a hacker.
Yeah, no, that was an NPC that I gave to that I didn't respect enough. I
Crazy.
had a
got
bad
tapped.
gun. I didn't like
Could
retreat.
have been a lucky shot too.
It could have been a lucky shot, but like I was just reloading on the road.
field,
Yeah.
What I remember is TTK is the same for you as it is for everyone else in the game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone dies very quickly, very easily.
Yep.
Right.
But then when you die, you don't go back to the main menu screen. You go back to your base. You will probably open up your menu and grab your guns, but you can like set up backpacks that already have like a gun in them so that you're ready to go. But you just call another heli and you run back to your body because you're not out of the raid. It's all the same map that's active at the same time. And as long as you don't die a second time before you get your stuff, your body is still going to be there and you can loot it. So I've been in game with a friend and like people he's met in game, and like I'll die, they cover my body until I'm able to call that heli. And sometimes you can call it immediately. Sometimes there are too many people in your faction who are currently using helis, and so you get like request denied, all birds in flight. And so then you
that's
got to
cool.
like anxiously spam the call button, like hoping that the last heli is dropped off your
So
dude.
your base is instance then, and then as soon as you go out, then it's like a world server.
Yeah, but like I could walk into the other person's base from my base if I
I'm
wanted
saying
to.
in the same faction.
So like the other people from other factions are also on the same map.
Yep.
And can
That's not what I'm saying.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
clearly not. I'm
Don't
sorry.
worry about
Yeah.
Yeah.
How has
I-
performance been?
Spotty. Very spotty. First couple days, graphics were terrible. I changed some settings, still very bad. Then they did like a hot fix. Better. It doesn't look pretty, but like the
we
gameplay is
had-
good enough.
We had a guy come in here. He's playing on like the nice monitor
Yeah.
and the nice computer, the 2080 system. Everything completely low, and he was getting like 70 FPS.
Yeah, I pretty much just
Now
get 40,
these are
yeah.
not Intel. I don't know if this is a CPU bottleneck game, but he was everything low on a 2080 Super, which still can like pack some punch.
Well, it's supposed to be like very graphically.
It's supposed to be, but I think it's also just pretty unoptimized.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Like,
I
it'll
think
get
so,
better.
too.
Because like I saw even streamers were like whining that their 4090, 14900K systems were like, bro, why am I not getting like at least 200 FPS? And they're like, they're barely hovering 100. You know, and it's like, ooh.
I did encounter a hacking situation, which is not great, but then again, Tarkov has faced hackers like the entire time. So does this like reduce its chance of being a Tarkov killer? I don't think so. But it did make me really cranky, and I didn't play again the rest of the night. What happened is that like when you get back to your base, you usually like you spawn in the area, or if you just like flew a helicopter back, you land next to the spawning tent. There are a bunch of people with their names in your faction. You open up your mini map. You see that they're like in your faction. They're good guys. You can talk to them if you have VoIP on. And if you want to, you can like organize a quest together. You can all get on the same chopper. A lot of times people are like spamming and like all the birds are in the air. So they're like, oh, what point are you going to? And then they'll like hop on or hop off. One time I didn't get on the right chopper, and so I went to a random place. But I got experience because I found it. It was cool. And I almost made a new friend. I almost made a new friend, but then he died, which was sad. But this time I successfully extract. I come back, land in the base, and instead of seeing a heap of people from my faction in the spawning tent, I see a bunch of dead bodies. Oof. And when you like hover their name, normally like you hover somebody and it'll like tell you their name if they're in your faction. This just said dead body. Dead body, dead body. And I'm like, this is really awkward. And so I like walk a couple of paces just so I'm not right next to where everybody is. And I open up my menu and I instantly get shot in the head. Yeah. And this is the first time that violence has happened to me in my own base. Bullets from your own faction don't work on you when you're in base.
Okay.
But in principle, there can be other raids. So if me and my boys all went to another faction's base, from what I understand, I haven't tried it yet because I'm a coward and I'm pretty low level, but like mostly a coward. From what I understand, if I went to a place, I would be able to start shooting them.
Yeah.
I would probably just get overwhelmed quickly because there'd be tons of them there. Yeah. But in this one, I instantly got shot in the head. I respawn. And my body is instantly looted of all its stuff. Nobody is around.
Yeah.
And
huge hacking. Yeah.
Huge hack. And so I like stand there and I see other people spawning and then instantly dying, and their body is not with the. Normally you die, you still have your equipment. Yeah, it was sad. So like, big hack. I was turned off that night. I turned the game off, but I got back in the next day because it was it scratches the itch that Tarkov does.
And it costs money, right? So
it does cost money.
Hackers. What is the reporting like for hacks right now?
I don't know. I didn't report anybody. I just pouted.
It's early alpha. There's so many things.
How much does it cost for the alpha?
I think it's $40, right?
I think it was $40. Yeah, it was between 30 and 40.
Cool.
Yeah, but I liked it.
Yeah.
What are you playing?
I ran through Reach, CE 2, 3, and almost done with 4 in 2 weeks. Are you doing
co-op with somebody?
Nope.
Or just solo?
Oh, yeah.
Just
right,
solo.
Yeah.
Nice.
You just picked up what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I started a playthrough with my youngest daughter. She's 18 now, but she loved it, so I have to finish that with her. We only got to the towards the end of 2.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I realized that I had never actually played 2 every single level. There was like 2 levels in there as I was running through them. I'm like, I don't think I've played these levels before. And I had never played Reach. So, I mean, I knew the last level. I knew Noble 6's Last Stand. Holy crap. That was insane. I lasted a long time. I was playing on easy, though.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because I'm playing on easy.
The story.
I'm just running through the games. Yeah. I just got the urge to do it.
Wait, so Last Stand, do you like lose inevitably?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
There's no way to
winning.
win.
Oh, that's
it just says
cool.
survive.
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
That's cool.
But anyways, yeah, I've read a lot of the books too, so it's like, I don't know, it just hit a little harder.
Did you watch the TV show at all?
Hell no.
Oh, yeah, I have.
I love it.
Yeah, I have.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Season 2 is a lot better, I've heard. It got from absolute
I'd say so.
dog water to like
I mean,
bad.
it wasn't.
I mean, you'll be disappointed if you're a lore junkie.
If you're a lore junkie, but it's not for them.
But yeah, so running through Halo has been really nice. I'm in the minority that I think Halo 4's soundtrack is the best one. I mean, I actually put it up there as a top 3 video game soundtrack of all time. No, that is the hottest take I probably have of all video games. That I put Halo 4's soundtrack in top 3. I can't think of a hotter video game take I have. It's super. I mean, most people are like, dude, don't come near me. I'm gonna incinerate from a take like that. But yeah, I just love it. There are some songs on there that are just bangers. But yeah, I've only played 9 games of League of Legends in the last 30 days.
Wow. Are you going through withdrawal?
Okay.
Am I-
Applause, everybody.
Am I
Not
retired?
overly. Are you
Oh.
retired?
Zombro's telling me that I am retired. He's
Yeah.
like, dude, 9 games.
Just a dead game.
I mean, I almost
all the
feel the
dying
same way
game,
with
dying
Rocket League. I'm
esport.
just wondering, like, when I might
Am I retired?
switch out. You know, from
Well, it's
that.
not
I've
that
been
you
playing a
never
lot
play
less.
the game again.
Yeah.
But it's at what point do you start saying, I'm not a Rocket League player anymore?
Oh.
I'm not a
Yeah.
League of Legends player anymore.
Yeah, because at one point I was an
You know what I
Overwatch
mean?
player, and then I
I've-
was no longer.
I've given
like, I
up
still
on
opened
just
it.
trying to get like a high as rank as I can. You know,
Yeah,
I'm just
I mean,
in it to
I hit
enjoy it.
my rank goal. I hit Diamond in a very hard season to hit Diamond, so I hit top 1%. It's like that was never a driver for me, or else I would have hit it a lot earlier than last year. But I'm just kind of at the point where life's been so busy. We have a lot going on this
Yeah.
year with a kid too. I mean, I hear this from everybody too. It's, I'm just too busy to play games. But I'm not too busy to play games. I'm too busy to play a 45-minute slugfest
Yes.
that I cannot pause.
Yeah.
And at least with Rocket League, you know,
Yeah,
you're
about like
only
a 7-minute
committing
round. Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
7-minute
Yeah.
round,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so, it's kind of strange. I'm not ready to like say it yet, but I mean, other people are saying it about me, so
Well, so
It could just be your off season. Maybe.
it could be.
could be.
No,
I've never
it's
taken a
time.
break like this before.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've never taken a
It's
break
time to
like
expand
this.
the horizon.
Well, I've been trying to get into Helldivers.
The only
See,
reason
that's what I was saying. I'm
That's
like,
a
I
good
kind of want to
segue.
go buy Helldivers and run around with that, but
Let's
like,
go.
We do have licensing here.
Let's
that you,
go.
When you, if you have
that's
time
right.
here,
I know.
free at the
I know. We
arcade,
do
you can borrow
have.
Helldivers
We do
from
have
us.
licensing here.
So you guys aren't mad at what Sony did, right?
We aren't mad.
Well, yeah. I mean, it
mean-
was really shitty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they already reversed it.
They
so
reversed it, but did you see what else they did though?
no,
no,
I just saw
Can
the.
we refresh
I just
for the
saw
people what
goofy,
they did?
and I'll do it again. I just saw the goofy.
Can we
meme, what
refresh
they
for the
did.
people what they did in the first place?
Yeah,
Sure, go ahead.
Give it
Read
quick
it.
synopsis.
No, I'm not good at it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So basically, the CEO of Helldivers said that they were always planning to put the PlayStation Network, but when they launched the game, it wasn't ready for it.
Right. It wasn't working properly.
So everyone
planned, but
bought.
they
Everyone
delayed
bought
it.
the game.
Yeah.
Huge game, massive, super popular.
They didn't think it was going to be that
Absolute
big.
rock
That's probably why
Yeah,
they
that's
made the
another
Yeah,
thing.
that's
He literally
true.
said we had no idea this game was going to blow up to this level.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, that still doesn't matter technically. It doesn't matter.
No.
But the game sold very well in many, many countries. And then Sony
Almost
was
all of
like,
them.
yeah. And then Sony was like, hey, well, this is someone else's take that I'm parroting, but it makes sense. Hey, you know what would be really great for our shareholders if we just had like a couple million new PlayStation accounts,
PSN accounts,
PSN accounts. Yeah. What's that great game that we just published? Let's just slap that on there. Now that is not the actual take because, like
Right.
the CEO said, they plan to do it from the beginning.
But that's the cynical
It
take.
was even
That's
in
the
their,
cynical take.
That was even in their FAQ.
Yes.
That it was a
It was crazy. All right. So anyway, so the PSN account comes out. It is not available in every country.
Like
Some
170 countries that.
That's
block
right. That's
that.
right.
And so all of a sudden, Valve was like, "Hey, why am I getting refund requests for a game?"
They honored it for.
They
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
They did. And so then they had to pull the game from the store. Sony did it technically before Valve did. But Valve was like, fucking hey, Sony.
Oh, for sure.
Come on. I like how Gamers Nexus put it. He's like, really? Sony, the company
Yeah.
that's been around since 1967 and has been making video games since 1997 or whatever the thing was. And it was like, you haven't figured this one out yet?
Valve isn't perfect, but I'm sure they're just like,
No, but
like
they're just-
it's like,
Yeah,
oh, great,
exactly.
more
Yeah,
anti-consumer.
Yeah.
right,
Be a
stuff
little less
like that.
blatant with it.
And so, anyways, someone, the CEO of Helldivers is based. And someone was like, so what do I do if I can't make a PSN account and I bought the game? And he just literally responded on Twitter, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's been very vocal this
Yeah.
whole time, but I was like, damn. I
Yeah.
mean, it's one thing when you see like Manlords Greg like talking to the community on Reddit and going back and forth, and you got that publisher. It's another when you got like your relationship with Sony and you're like subtly throwing huge amounts of flame. I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is brutal. So
So he
anyways,
was
that's
calling
the.
out Sony too for it. He's like,
I think. I mean, he has to do it with as much tact as possible because,
was.
like,
He was.
Yeah.
But he was straight up telling everyone, it's not my decision. It's not our studio's.
Yeah, no, he's right. Yeah,
It's
he said
Sony.
that. Yeah. So, just so we can quickly get to our featured segment, I was going to run through these other news.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys don't know what happened then, though.
Oh, yeah, by the way, yeah, what happened?
Right, because
What'd Sony
Sony,
do?
although they said, well, it's not mandatory to link the account, we still will not allow countries that can't have an account to purchase the
Oh, they
game.
did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
What?
Is
So
that not
countries that cannot have a
Yoink.
Sony account cannot purchase it or play it on Steam.
There must be I mean, that actually just purely cost them a bunch of money. There must be a
I'm
legal
sure some countries
reason.
have. I don't know which ones of that, but like the EU, of course, has
Right.
like a lot of consumer protections where they can't do that. So I
Yeah.
wonder if there's some countries that will have.
But
this
I mean, I know that
policy.
EU countries are able to play Helldivers, but
Yeah.
these smaller, there must be
They-
something
yeah.
going on. Wow, what a major cluster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Brutal.
it's not over.
I do love that goofy meme, and I'll do it again.
I saw one meme where it says you can no longer play Helldivers in these countries, and then it's an Animaniacs GIF where he's just
Yeah,
naming
yeah, yeah.
all
I
the
did-
countries.
I did see that.
Nice, nice.
I did see it. I love that.
Oh, I was saying, like, based on this, I can just give some quick Edge updates, just really quick.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we'll
sure.
blast through that real quick. So, things coming up soon. We have our summer camps coming up, which we have our Game Maker camps and VR camps, and won't go into too much detail there. But if you go to greenbaycamps.com, you can get more information.
Sean, this will make you very happy. I was waiting on the podcast to tell you this.
Yeah.
I met a PC camp, Game Maker camp person in the wild.
Oh, really?
Yep, this morning at Kids Town.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's awesome.
The kid said something about VR, but he said Rockstar. But I heard VR. I said, oh, VR? And he goes, no, I said Rockstar. And then the mom goes, well, he is doing VR. He's going to this place to learn a game making camp. I'm like, oh, really? That's cool. Tell me about it.
Nice. Awesome.
You should mishear VR more often.
What now?
Just anytime
yeah,
somebody
yeah,
in
yeah.
public says something
VR?
with VR.
Anyways, that was really
on
cool.
VR.
And the kid is stoked. The
Yeah.
kid is like hyped.
Really cool to be able to offer that in the area. It's like,
Yes.
obviously as growing up a nerd and all of us being nerds, being able to offer a nerd haven to these young kids
Yeah,
and
that's
a place where they feel like they belong is really awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot from parents that just like they're, the kid loves this place and other things, and it's just like they fit in. And they meet like-minded people, and so it's really awesome to be a part of that. That's one of the things that drives my purpose. So love the education side of what we do. And so yeah, things coming up. We're currently working with a Wisconsin Rapids location, a guy there that reached out to us, and we're working with him to license our brand with him. That'll be opening this summer in Wisconsin Rapids, and then later on, towards the end of the year, we should be opening in Appleton. So that's going to be really awesome. We'll have right now we have free roam VR arena scale. That we do on a mobile basis. We just did a few weekends at the mall. And then, of course, we do parties and events and everything like that. We got a few end-of-school year stuff. We work with Titletown and the Packers a lot. And then, but that's going to be coming to our locations. So around that end of the year, we'll have some dedicated free roam / arena scale VR in the Green Bay. And then the Appleton will be designed around that.
Yeah.
So we're
It's gonna be
hoping,
wild.
I mean, like, there's still a lot that needs to be done. But one of the things that I'm dreaming about, like, to be able to pull off is, like doing some esports, some VR esport arena based esports,
huge.
which would be amazing. You're talking about 2,500 square feet
Yeah,
of 4v4 team deathmatch
Hell
with
yeah.
haptic vests and guns,
That's
like
nuts.
actual
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
rifles that are tracked and stuff. I mean, it's obviously we got to work out a lot of details around that, but
and even from like a business standpoint, nobody's doing anything like that anywhere close to here. Period.
Not in America.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Most of your
well, I mean, there are some
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
there's some close ones, like some of the larger cities. There's definitely
Texas.
things like what is
That country, Texas.
yeah. There's you want EVA
Our
EVA.gg.
cousins over there in
I mean,
Texas.
That's something that I'd love to bring where we actually do something like in something like the size like in the Rush Center where we have some something like that actual arena scale. But there's zero. That's what zero latency. is a great brand that I was looking into too, because they offer arena scale like Far Cry, Ubisoft's Far Cry.
Yeah.
But you have to be a franchise. I can't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
license that,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Did somebody say Ubisoft?
The other thing I'm working on is doing
Money.
VR. Remote VR field trips where at gymnasium scale. So the whole gymnasium
That's
becomes
cool.
the solar system or the human body and stuff
Yep.
like that. And like up to 30 kids with wireless headsets are in there. So that's I'm working on too, to do some pre-sales for some coming in the fall. And then on the esports side of things, we got our next season of our Titletown Esports coming up. And we'll be doing Rocket League. And we're working with them and their legal team to possibly do some Madden.
Yeah.
But that is currently not in the not approved for this next season, so we're gonna continue with Rocket League. But if that does get approved, we will probably do a Madden season and then a Rocket League season.
I'll do Madden
one per
for
year.
the 25, right?
Yeah.
For the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
That'd be big.
I think that would
That'd
be
be
good.
big.
So like legal just takes a while. There's a lot of red tape to go through, especially working with the NFL. So we'll see
I mean,
if
who
that comes through.
knows?
But I mean, obviously,
Madden might just throw money at us too. Be
Well,
like, oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, we
NFL
meet-
town.
I checked out the community guidelines. I mean, we meet those technically, just
Yeah.
like we do with Rocket League. And but there's a few things that we might be able to do some extra special stuff because of the Packers and the NFL,
Right.
or the Packers with title.
Cool.
I mean, so we'll see.
That'd be exciting.
All right. So for the quick bits, I just stole that from Linus Tech Tips. We're gonna get cease and desist.
Shoot. Sorry, Linus.
On that
MSI
basis, I don't think.
MSI is happening right now, mid-season invitational for League of Legends. The West is giga doomed, although G2 actually played like semi well.
Really? Because, okay,
Yeah.
point
G2
about G2 and over,
okay,
Valorant, too. Yeah.
G2 played pretty well. We have like our own Western faker. His name is Caps. Normally he's Craps, but yesterday he was Claps.
I see.
Clapping everybody. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to do a quick shout. RLCS is going on too, and Bloodless, one of our.
Yes,
Oh,
Bloodless.
nice.
Yes,
Bloodless,
I
one of
forgot.
the guys that's in.
He plays here and also
Plays
plays
here.
in Titletown.
They made it to day 2, I think, of RLS qualifications. I forget
Huge.
which one, but yeah. Anyways, they played against Moist, Moist Esports, which was pretty awesome. Saw the
Oh,
stream.
big.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They did lose that round, but it was pretty awesome to be able to see them
That's
at that
sweet.
level.
That is
So I
really
haven't
good.
unfortunately been following a lot of RLCS going on right now because I'm more in the production side of esports. But I mean, obviously Rocket League is my thing. So, but just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
So yeah, basically the West sucked, with the exception of G2, and China is looking extremely dominant. Surprise, when you have 100 times the population of North America for League of Legends base. We talked about that Helldiver stuff. 5th gen NVIDIA chips rumored to be released
November,
Q4.
October.
Yep. Apparently, the 5090 will have 32 gigabytes of RAM
Good.
and is 50% faster than the 4090, which is 50%
It's a dual
faster.
GPU architecture too, isn't it?
It is rumored to be a dual
Rumored to be,
GPU
yeah.
architecture, which we haven't had that since
Wait, so you could?
since a 690.
Is that where you like put both of them together and they like
Both
parallel process
both dies are on the same board.
Yeah, except this one will be actually like
The last time we had that in an
So having to
NVIDIA
do
was a
the, like-
690, which I had one, and I cooked an egg on it. No joke.
Really?
I put tinfoil all
I was
around
gonna say,
the
yeah, like,
dies.
how did that survive?
Oh, it did it. It was already dead, but it would still
okay,
turn on.
okay.
But it got so hot. No, the chip. The reason it dies is because you
Yeah, I think I
couldn't
had a
cool them.
680.
Yeah. But yeah, I cooked an egg on a 690.
Nice.
Took a minute, but it was doable.
Was it a good
Did you
egg?
eat it?
No, I did not eat it.
I would have.
But anyways, yeah. So this card is so it's gonna. The rumors are it's a 5090 and the 5080. The 5090, yeah, with 32 gigabytes of VRAM. This is the first time I've seen people who buy Halo cards, like they always get the 3090 Ti or the 4090 or the 2080 Ti. They're actually like, yeah, I'm barely actually even using my 4090 because it's so
Yeah.
OP.
Right.
And now it's like, what is this thing? The thing that I see this being used for, though, actually I was telling Tony, I'm like, bro, this would slap Unreal Engine. Like,
Yep.
for developing scenes and stuff like that.
And of course AI.
Yeah,
well.
at our studio here, we do have like a
Yeah.
little virtual studio where we use Unreal in order to create and VR tracking in order for
Right.
the camera to be parallax and that.
But
so.
the 4090 is already outdoing CPUs. Like this thing is going to be wild, and it's going to easily cost over $2,000. So,
Oh, that's so bad.
anyways, and then before we get to our feature, we have
Hashtag Valorant news.
Valorant.
So G2 did really well in Valorant, which is cool. G2's been a team whose core I've been following since they were the Guard before the Guard went bust, because the Guard was the same organization that bought into the Overwatch League. Not super important, but they got second in the playoffs to get into Masters Shanghai. Third was Leviathan, a team I've talked about with a Brazilian guy who relaxes during timeouts because he's genuinely the best player in the world.
They beat the Sentinels.
Yeah. However, it looks like the best team in the world may be 100 Thieves. Actually,
Right.
100 Thieves got
shot.
to playoffs in the North America run-up to qualify for Masters Shanghai, and in the grand finals against G2, they 3-0'd. I was really excited.
Were they close 3-0s?
It was like some of the maps closer than others, but it was
Pretty dominant.
It was great. It looked really good. The IGL for the IGL for 100 Thieves Boostio is a former Overwatch player, so man after my own heart, named after when an Ana accidentally nano boosts a Lucio, and so you get a Boostio. That's where his name comes from. But yeah, they look really good. Boostio is known for standing up after every round they win and shit talking the opponents. It's
Are you sure
genuinely
he also wasn't a COD player back in the day?
Dude, it's hilarious, and he's kind of short, so like his legs dangle when he's sitting, so like you can see his legs like go. You can't see my legs go, but like they'll wave down like when he's playing, but then he'll stand up immediately, and he's known for several clips in which he points at the other players and says, "You are all shit." Like recently, there was a time when his mouse actually stopped working, in round.
Okay.
And they weren't going to be able to tech pause during the round. They had to tech pause after, and he just used himself as like a human drone to trade for his team. So there's a clip of him like just like he
they
has
win
his
the
knife
round?
out. Yeah. They win the round.
Oh
he just
my-
runs out, jumps. He gets shot by two people, but like two of his teammates trade for him, and then he immediately stands up and says, "You are all shit. You are all shit." It was super fun. So great character. I'm really happy with what 100 Thieves is doing in Valorant right now. They're looking really good. Masters Shanghai, the second of the three big international tournaments this season in Valorant, starts May 23rd. I'm going to be tuning in for that. And America's teams look pretty good. If the third seed is Leviathan, who has arguably the best player in the world, then you know it's like a pretty competitive North American.
Who is the best player right now again?
Aspas probably. Aspas on Leviathan. Like he recently broke a major kill record. Although somebody else who, this is embarrassing, but somebody else just broke the kill record within like the same week for like a really long series. But yeah, no, they're looking good. But in Europe, Fnatic is looking good again. They were world beaters last year, and they had a really rough start, but they actually looked really good in the playoffs. So yeah, it's gonna be some good Valorant in the near term future.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, our feature presentation. I have very little to say on this topic, so
Which is a first, I think.
You have all to say.
No, I mean, the thing that for me to say is like, why don't I enjoy this topic? Because it's like I'm just not. These games don't attract
Because
me.
you only play
They
League of
don't
Legends.
attract you because they're not making anything good yet, and that's what we need to discuss. Is like, what does make a good MMO? What is an MMO that could get you and me and David
Running
play
around, like logging on and going to do a raid
and
then,
partying up and
I think for me, it's weapons and MMO like gear is not. I just don't think anything about it.
no.
So like min-maxing and stuff and getting the right gear. You don't care about that part?
No, because I think to myself, oh, I could just go watch a guide, and then if I watch the guide, I can just go do the thing, and then
Nowadays
I
you
get it.
kind of can't.
Part of it's about finding the gear, right?
Well, but-
like when I'm
but like,
well, and maybe that's the thing is like no MMOs are making going to get the gear fun.
yeah,
It's grindy.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so I can just watch a guy do the thing, and then I'm going to do the very same thing that I watched the guy do.
Right.
Very cool. That's
Unless you're trying to build yourself, like you're being the guy making the build.
But like okay, so what is the oh gosh, what's the game on Steam that took over WoW?
Path of Exile.
Yes,
Path of
PoE.
Exile, actually,
Okay,
yeah.
that game looked really cool. I was like, okay, I can get into this. And then I actually learned that I'm so glad I watched a couple VODs, because if I clicked the wrong skill tree, hours, tens and tens, maybe even hundreds of hours, completely wasted, because you can't play in game.
Right.
And it's like, if you don't know that, if you're just like some random, which I guess Path of Exile does not attract randoms.
No, it
but it attracted me.
Yeah.
Right, at first.
At
right.
first, and
Because
then I'm like,
I also ran into the same thing with Path of Exile. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, this actually looks really fun.
Yeah.
Because I had a buddy that played it all the time.
yeah,
And he's like, oh, well, you've got to do this, you've got to do this.
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
this," and
Because you
stuff.
can
I'm
play
just
the
like,
game for a little bit,
Right.
but then it gets to the point you literally can't play it.
Yeah.
Really?
He's like, if you don't pick one of these builds and you don't build this way,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to do everything. I'm like,
Yeah. Also, like,
why would I want to play this
Yeah.
game?
the 10 hours I put into Diablo 2, like, I also feel like I don't know, like, I'm not playing like the hard stuff or whatever, but it's like I don't feel like I'm ever and worried for my life when I play an MMO. There's no real danger I feel like I'm in, mainly because, like, I guess in like tax shooters, when you die, you're dead for the round. In League of Legends, when you die early, it doesn't matter, but later you're doing nothing for 90 seconds, and then you're seeing things taken away from you that can never be brought back, like a tower or a dragon that was stolen from you. You know, it's like I don't really have things like that happen in an MMO.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're and then for me, the role playing part of it is not even role playing. It's more just MMO. For people to say it's an MMO RPG, it doesn't feel like an RPG to me. I don't feel like I'm immersed.
I'm with
in
you
the
on there because
story.
I'm not a role player. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
well,
hard-
I mean, RPGs, though, and it's like, if that term was first created, though, it was because you were playing.
You're picking a character. This
Right.
is your,
I
you
think
were
D&D
playing
and
as
stuff,
that
the
character.
Yeah,
more
yeah.
origin of that.
but like I was playing like Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and like one of the best. I'm breaking the secret here, but one of the best kept secrets about the game is just permadeath. So every time you die, the darkness is slowly taking over her. If you die, they don't tell you how much you have to die, but if you die too much, completely deletes your save.
That's cool.
Full permanent.
That's cool.
Yeah. But you don't know that. You don't know that until you're like fighting your first round and you die your first time, and then it goes through like the whole thing and you see the darkness start to come up. So I play that game very, very, very differently than I've ever played any game. I've never played a game of permadeath. I mean, they're not very popular.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But I died 2 other times, and now it's up to my shoulder blade, and I'm like, oh. So now, like, I really play that game slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's role playing, because it's roguelike almost in a way.
Yeah.
But it is a story driven arc. But yeah, the MMO part, I don't know, man. Just like, I'd rather be playing something else with you guys, like a common goal that's done. It takes, even if it's a league game where it's 45 minutes, but at least there's an end. We can reflect, take a break.
I'll definitely have to say, like, as I've gotten older, it's like the grind has less and less appeal, with
Yeah.
my time, and
Yeah.
that's like I really do like story-driven elements and cinematics. And
Because you used to be pretty big into at least one.
yeah,
MMO, right?
yeah, like so, just a little bit of history. So, like in college, back in like 2001 and stuff, I was a huge Dreamcast fan, like Sega fan and stuff like that. So I had the Dreamcast, and so that opened me up to Phantasy Star Online, and that was really. I mean, a first console MMORPG. Actually, I think there might have been like maybe like one really low one, but anyways, because of the modem built into, so on 56K, on a modem,
Yeah.
and then the college finally got DSL, so upgraded that. But being able to talk to people from Japan using the built-in chat system and stuff like that, and I had a keyboard for it. That was really cool. And then, of course, just like a emoticon type chat where you could build your own graphics and stuff. Actually, that was later on. So PSO kind of popped the bubble for me with that. And then a little bit later on, Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst came out, which was PC-based. And that's when I really got into it. And I got into a guild that was the largest guild on the server for the gem, and became a leader in that guild too. So I was really invested in the community. And then eventually the friends that I played with a lot like that, they kind of had an uprising and we rebelled against the leader. And then we started our own guild. And I was just kind of along for the ride with that. Actually, it's just like, hey, they wanted me to come with, so I'm just like, sure, whatever. I didn't really have anything that invested in the gem. Man, I don't know, I'm blanking on the name, but the leader of Gem actually ended up working for Sega, through that whole ordeal and stuff like that. And it was really great interacting with the forums and the community and everything like that. And a little tidbit there, I actually won the whole server-wide Halloween chat contest that they had. So I created in-game chat art using the tools that were in there. Just you had shape stuff like that. I had done a series of those and I actually won that. And then I had gotten the T-shirt and a bunch of other stuff like that for winning that competition.
Didn't you recently say that you saw someone online talk about?
Oh yeah, for that kind of the history of it. And it's like obviously it's like it was on like every community. Like there's obviously some communities where there's legends, that have reached like everybody knows about, and it's probably not more niche, with this. But yeah, just like I saw somebody mention something on because PS Phantasy Star Online still exists today, as like it was PS02, of course, in Japan for a while, and then it finally came out in America like 11 years later, which I was waiting forever. I also did Phantasy Star Universe for a little bit. And then Phantasy Star New Genesis is now. I haven't actually done that. I just haven't had the time. I did PSO2 for a little while. And but it was just like trying to drink from a fire hose because all of that content from Genesis was releasing like crazy. So that was really awesome for a while because there was just so much to do. But then it started getting grindy, and I was just like, I didn't really feel like getting involved in the community again. But on the Facebook, someone had mentioned the gem thing like that. I was just like, oh yeah, hey, I was around during that time. So
no, you weren't. You're just making that up.
Yeah, so that was really great. Just like it was a really cool time in life to like just be part of a community like that. And I was like younger, so I was like in my early 20s, and just absolutely loved it and really got. I actually like in a that's kind of like part of my start of my animation thing. So I was doing a lot of Flash animation before I got into animation, and I would create in our forum. I'd create banners, animated banners for each of our members.
Oh, that's cool.
Based on their character and stuff like that using Flash. So that was a lot of fun. And I even wrote like a parody song, for a thing like that too. Yeah, I know it was totally cringe. But it was based on Captain Planet. It was a parody for Gem. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I remember hanging out in the lobbies and stuff and just chilling in our. It was just so much fun, and then just the camaraderie. So that was one of the best parts about it.
You know what I'm wondering too? Definitely why I'm not really big into MMOs is we have Discord. We just sit in Discord and just talk.
Well, I mean, and it's like granted, there were a lot of other things going on with MMOs, but it's like the having built-in guild management, and that was starting to be a newer thing, right? So it was really kind of at the time you didn't have that ability. Outside as much, that's definitely changed a lot. I mean, obviously that was the time too, and like I was doing LAN parties, part of dreaming what we do here today and having the LAN center. It's like with GB LAN and helping out with that and doing the big LANs. It's like I still sometimes in my memories, like for my friends, we had a LAN party at someone's house and stuff like that, and it's even doing like virtual LANs through like Log Me In, creating a virtual network over the internet so that we could do LAN stuff like that because it wasn't really that great for matchmaking at that point and a lot of multiplayer stuff. So it was kind of cool to bring this to LAN party idea to a new generation. But anyways, so that's PSO was definitely the main one. I got into New World for a little bit. That one kind of we played for a little bit.
I played with you for a while.
Had a really fun moment with that too. It's just like it was I was trying to catch up to you guys. I was in one of the cities and we were doing PvP. So
what happened with that game is that the end game wasn't fleshed out by the released it, right?
Well, yeah, like when they released it, I mean, that's why it didn't really catch. I mean, it burned a lot of people because it was kind of like Helldivers was able to make it work where they had way more response than they expected. They just didn't have the server space. There was such long queues and everything, and then the community just never kind of really came back.
Yeah,
insane hours.
Yeah.
But what I loved about that is that no matter what you really chose to do, it's like you were rewarded very well when it came to progress and EXP, like crafting and
first. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, and I got back into it a little bit with my friend Lavrin, who's from France, And and he was like on the server that we were on. Him and his friend Moose, they were like the top guys. Like Moose actually was like one of the top, like creating like our Argo build for like being in wars and stuff like that. And then Laverne was like a master crafter, just maxed out on everything. So it was just like I did it for a little while, and then it's just like I just couldn't get back into it. Just the there wasn't as much going on in the world there. Just kind of like they weren't able to really recover. It felt like from that.
And even to this day,
open.
there's only like a few thousand that play it now at a time.
But I was gonna say, like when we played the first time that we played, the thing that was really a fun moment was you guys were already in a group, and I joined late, and I was in the city, and then we were flagged for PvP. And I was lower ranked, so I was leaving, and some guy was following me, and you guys were trying to catch up. So I was like, this guy just thought I was some lowly, like, whatever. And he was following me. He's just going to, kill me. And he started attacking me. And then you guys show up, and we just totally decimate him. Yeah, it was just, like, amazing because he was just being, an ass and trying to PK me and just easy. And it was just, like, it was so hype. It was just, like, such a great moment that was not planned, because you could bait people that way. But it was just ended up happening that way, and it was just cool. So exciting. I love those kinds of moments. Those are really fun.
And that's what makes MMOs great, right? Is that I think a good MMO is like where the players are technically writing the lore of the game, right? Where it's the social interactions that start to either the engine can allow, or even some of the activities where it's just like it forces those interactions in just like ways you just wouldn't expect, that feel like it's organic.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like we really need from like the new age of MMOs, and I can't even think of like.
It's almost like having responsive devs that integrate the meta into it and move forward and make they still do a little bit today, but it's more so directing it.
But it's just like having a game where kind of like Gray Zone. I think that's why like it piqued my interest so much when you said there was no UI, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you go into a game, but instead of you like going into the game, it feels like you're just going into that world.
Yep. Immersion.
And where it like immediately hits you with that immersion. And you have to do everything that you would want to do in the game by actually doing it in the game, right? To like get to an activity, you actually have to go there in the game, right? Or if you want to set up like a campaign where you need to go like help somebody, like you're either gathering your friends like in the game or you're like you have to find random people to go help you do it, right? Finding a system that rewards you for doing those things, I think, instead of punishing you for having to like min-max and grind and something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the only MMO that I truly thought I would get into was Guild Wars 2 because of the PvP of how like it's constant battling. And I don't remember if this is true because I might be confusing it with what's the shooter that Sony makes that's...
Destiny?
Nope.
No?
Old. You and Quinn were playing it.
Oh, PlanetSide.
Yes,
I remember some great
PlanetSide's like an
moments
MMO.
in PlanetSide too.
Yeah.
The second one was one of them I played.
Right, yeah. And so like I always like the idea of like a server starting up 10,000 versus 10,000 versus 10,000 on a big map, and it's like, okay, go tackle all these neutral monsters, get as much gear as you can. We're gonna.
That's what I was kind of thinking when I was asking with the Gray Zone, like if it had like control points, like for the map
Right.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that. 'Cause I was
right
thinking of
now,
PlanetSide too.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
I
good.
like the
I feel
idea
like it's
of that where you're still like, okay, first faction to control 70% of the Earth wins.
Right.
It ends the playthrough. You gain
And then
a
it's a
trophy,
restart.
and then you can take your clan and go to another one. So like on that system, it's not massively. I said 10,000. It should be more like 100 and 100 and 100.
Sure.
You'd want to try to recruit people from all over our Earth to hit different time zones to be fighting, and management and stuff like that. Like something like that to me would be really, really cool. Right. If Death in that was like a 24-hour. Like you can't spawn because you have to call in more people for the cause. I would make something like that. Also, the map is circular.
That would be interesting if like the core like foundation of the MMO society is like in a singular planet or whatever. And
Yes.
that planet is at peace, right? Whatever. Maybe there's some dungeons that you could do. But then the major guilds of that planet want to conquer like separate planets, and so that's where the PvP
Yeah,
actually
something
goes
like
and
that.
happens,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, there's a game that I played. It's basically a mobile game, but it's called Tribal Wars. It's a browser-based thing, so you're just clicking on icons. And stuff.
I've seen you play this. I think.
I doubt it. I stopped playing this years ago.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
It's pay to win. It's super pay to
What's
win.
what's the one you like click on areas and then you take over more of this map?
Territorial.io.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That game's fun. Anyways, this game though is like you hop into a server, and the first player to take over the other server wins. But you can jump in it at any time. But a lot of people like wait for a brand new fresh server so they can all start at the same time. Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of barbarian camps. When you take them over, you get the resources. You can continue to big, right? Mm-hmm. So like one player can be the size of like a clan with 400 people in it versus one player, And I'm always like, okay, that is how I would do something in an MMO scene where it's like, there's an end goal. There's an end in mind. Like beating the boss, that's very cool. I could just go do this raid again tomorrow if I really wanted to. Right. That's not interesting to me anymore.
One thing I was thinking of that when you said too, like I don't know if there is currently a game that does this, but I'm just going to use planet side, like the idea of 3 factions, 100 each.
Yeah.
Like say you had like a like as an example, planet's like a planet, and you had your ship stocked with a certain amount of troops. Like, because the permadeath thing is the reason, it's harder to define that because it's not as fun. You can't just get right back in the action again. Yeah. But if you could do kind of a system where it's like, say you have 100 troops on the ground, but then if you die, you have to respawn by becoming one of the reserve troops. And then once you run out, your faction runs out of reserve troops. You lose. That's just it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you don't have to wait for 24 hours. You can move to another planet or another server.
Yeah.
But that way, it's like
that's
that if you
like a more expansive version of how Helldivers does it, actually. Because when you land on a planet to go do a mission, you get so many redeployments.
Okay.
And then if you run out of redeployments,
yeah, like I say, like
mission's
Battlefield
gone.
kind of does that too. It's like you only get so many redeployments or something like that until you're done.
Well, doesn't Helldivers also, like, because I swear I saw this, but I didn't confirm my curiosity, like, the robots or whatever, they said that the robots took over something in Helldivers. Okay, yeah. So it's like,
right?
Because so many missions failed. That
and so everyone's like, oh crap, we have to hit it hard this weekend. I'm like, that is cool. I am into that, but like I'm not into.
But there's no PvP in Helldivers, which drives me crazy.
But see, that's interesting because
there's accidental PvP. You could say.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was teaching me the game, and we had the funniest moment. I laughed so hard. He called in, what are they called in the game when you call
a stratagem?
He called in a stratagem and landed right on top of my head. I mean, it was so funny. I'm just like, I turned around, I'm looking at him. He looks at me, I look at him. I'm like, yeah, so what and he's just like, and I'm like, what just happened? And Forrest is like, oh no. And so, oh my gosh. So yeah, now when I throw him down, I'm like, I'm a backup. It was pretty funny. I had no idea that it was that precise. I threw it on the ground, and I'm like, you know what it was? It's because I'm playing Halo, and when I see the little drop pods come out of Halo, they just kind of land wherever. I'm like, I'll throw it down right where. No way, it's gonna hit within. Yeah, it hit me there.
Yeah,
but
precisely.
I laughed so hard. So that was great.
That was good.
So, anyways, I think if an MMO can come out and do something like what you're saying, Sean, like.
Well, I'll say have you heard about Hello Games and their new idea with an actual world-sized game? So along those lines, because of course you have what is it called?
Is it going to be an MMO?
I can't remember it. I loved the game. I played the VR version too. No Man's Sky.
Oh
yeah. It used to be an MMO where it's like I literally have a procedurally generated planet where it's a planet size. It's actual planet. So it's like you're.
Oh, is that their next game?
Yeah. Game. Yeah, so I'd be curious to see how that's going to play. Like when it comes to the multiplayer.
I just assumed that they were going to call it after No Man's Sky because they had the worst thing ever and then the best thing ever, and it's like, oh,
Oh yeah, exactly.
Do we even want to go down this road again? We
Yeah.
made millions.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they can do it now, right?
I mean, I
Especially
guess,
with
but
AI development.
It's just
in
like
the
it's
last
just like
decade, yeah.
it's like sometimes you just like, wow, I just rolled 40 times in the car, but you know what? I walked away.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I shouldn't race again.
I thought about picking up No Man's Sky again since it's been.
Tony said it is insane, and everyone I've heard from
But
it
I
said
loved.
it's so
I really
good.
enjoyed the beginning, but then it just became monotonous. You know, it's like
Is it
okay,
four-player co-op?
Well, it didn't have any co-op at all before. You
Yeah.
know, of course, you know it was planned. There wasn't really much there, and so it's like I haven't kept up with too much of the updates. I mean, it started to get really interesting, but just more of a time thing. But it's like,
Yeah.
but VR, I'd love to do it because flying around in it in VR is amazing. And
Yeah.
It feels really good.
All right, cool.
So we just need a space shooter that has factions that respects our time.
Star Citizen.
Yeah,
Wait, it's the triangle. You can do it right. You can do it quick, or you can do it cheap. Star Citizen, you can do it right.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
And- oh wait, you can only do it right because it ain't cheap and it ain't quick.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they'll ever get anywhere, but it'd be really.
They
cool.
did say the game is done.
Ideally. Yeah,
They just
Did
need
they?
time to polish it. Yeah, they released an official statement.
Wow.
Yeah, the time to
Okay.
polish will probably be 5 more years, but they did
I
say
feel
the
like that would
game
just
is
suck my life
all
away if I
systems
really
are
got
done.
into
Because
it.
you have to buy your own ship to get into that, don't you?
Some people are mortgaging their
Well,
homes.
Wow.
Well, you can like buy packs, but I mean, you can start out lower and just work your way up.
The higher tier ships that you buy, the more unlocks at higher price points. Right now, they found the $80,000 and $90,000 ships.
Oh my God.
Real U.S. dollars. This is
Jesus
not a
Christ.
joke.
So can you work your way up in that game?
Oh, I'm sure.
Get a ship?
I'm sure there absolutely
Sell
are.
for-
Well, yeah,
But
in-game credits, but you
but I'm
could
just
just
saying,
shortcut
like
it, you
the
know?
fact that they actually have 5-figure
That's
purchases.
insane.
that
Yes.
also goes towards developing the game, of course.
Yes,
you
it
know,
does.
but,
Yeah, but yeah, no, people have bought them too. All right. You know a guy whose son has a lot of disposable income.
Oh yes. Okay, I already know where you're going. I know who it is
All
already.
right.
Yeah.
You want to know how much this person has put into the game?
How much?
6,000.
6,000. Yeah. So wow.
I mean,
I mean, that's not.
you put in like what 3,000 into League of Legends?
Over. No, I'm closer to 2 over 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, he's put in like that
6,000
much.
in a
Yeah, and
year.
he's got
Like
he's
a
got
year.
and he's got plenty to spare.
Now he's got lots of disposable income.
Yeah.
Drives a Lotus.
Nice.
Cool. But still, like money is relative, I guess,
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
sense. But yeah. All right, cool. Well, we have to get going.
Yeah.
We're running a little late, and I want to get some food in my tummy. So,
Yeah, but
I
on the
have
upside,
to go put the first coat of paint on in our dedicated game room.
Shonky, thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
You're our first guest we've ever had on the
Oh
show.
really? Yay!
Clap, 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 clap.
well done, well done.
Nice.
Alrighty.
And that draws our 5th episode of Season 2 to a close. Thank you, one and all, for tuning into Patch Notes. Now you know exactly how to make the best possible MMORPG in human history. Just follow our blueprint and, I don't know, give us a shout
Send
out.
us royalties.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and farewell.
Thanks, everybody.
Bacon. Just a random word.
What's a baker under my bed?